In what non-sexual way do you feel most loved by someone? Serious. When someone goes out of their way to compliment me, I didn't get that growing up, and when someone does it I'm not sure if they are serious or not, but when they do it, it brings a warm feeling to my heart. Just remember to pass it forward. My dad is really socially reserved and never talks about his feelings. So this one time me and my dad were having a drink at a local pub and suddenly this random guy is trying to start a fight. I got up from my seat to tell him to cool down. The guy grabs my collar and is about to punch me. My dad, still sitting, just looks at the guy and calmly says, "Touch that boy and I will kill you right the way you're standing," and by the sound of his voice you could tell that he wasn't kidding. And that's the closest thing my dad has ever come to saying "I love you." I thought this was gonna head in the direction of him opening up about his life or some crap, but that works too. I work graveyard and have the caffeine consumption to go with it. The other night, halfway through my shift, I noticed that someone from swing shift had written a kind note on my bottle cap. Also, one of my other night shift co-workers is this big dude who looks tough and scary and he's pretty cynical, but we get along great. After he learned that I'm severely depressed, he started giving me a hug at the beginning and end of every shift we work together. I look forward to those 2 days all week long. He never said anything about it, just started doing it. That's what makes it so lovely to me. I'm starting my graveyard right now. This is lovely. I love co-worker hugs. My LDR boyfriend occasionally draws pictures of us just like reading a book together or hugging. Once we even held hands. I mean, he draws sex crap too. Let's not pretend, but that's not going to give me the same feeling as a hand-drawn scene of me fending him off from a bowl of brownie mix. He doesn't even tell me he's doing it. I just wake up and bam. Selfless fantasy of us in the future. Hugs. I haven't been hugged in so long. I'm lonely and just want a hug from a special someone. Not depressed or any of that, I'm just lonely. Hug. My ex-wife basically left me for another man, but acted heartbroken when having to choose between staying with me or continuing to frick my so-called friend and going to stay at her mother's house while I moved all my crap out of our shared place. On the day we actually decided to separate, she cried her crocodile tears on the way out of our house on the way to her mom's, and she called our beautiful husky mix Francis to her side to try to pet her before leaving. Francis let out a little whimper, looked at her, looked at me, and ended up trotting right up to my side as I sat at the kitchen table, and she plopped down at my right hand like a loyal friend as the cheating bee sobbed in the back doorway, bewildered as to why our dog wouldn't come to her side. In that moment I felt a love and devotion from my wonderful Francis, who we had raised since being abandoned at about 3 days old, than I ever had before and have not since. Francis is gone now, and I miss her every day, but I will never forget her love and support on that awful day. I know she was a dog and not a human, but frick you if you think that love wasn't real. Our bond was deep and true. She knew exactly what the frick was up and acted accordingly. That was real love that I will never forget. I had something super similar. My boyfriend and I broke up after years of him being unfaithful. I took our cat that we had together for 3 years. He came over one day to drop off some stuff I forgot to take, and he tried to pet our cat and she hissed at him like crazy. I've never been more proud. I have a bad relationship with my birthday and hardly anyone outside my immediate family knows when it is, and no one knows why I don't tell anyone. When people actually remember my day, it does feel kind of nice because I know they actually remembered because they won't find it anywhere. You're my frick my day twin sounds like. Good to know it's not just me. I've started treating the moon and some constellations, usually depicting humans, as old friends. Because when I go stargazing I usually go alone. I don't think you can call it love, but it's a nice feeling not feeling alone under a starry sky. That gives me some real melancholic vibes. About a year ago, I watched a YouTube clip of a Maddia skit. In it, Maddia described relationships like parts of a tree. She strongly suggested that people be willing to let go those who do not want to stay in their life. Leaves, not to be fooled by seemingly strong friendships, branches, and also to cling to your strongest and closest relationships, roots. After watching it, I did some serious reassessment of my friendships and let go of a lot of leaves and weak branches that needed pruning. In that time, I also hit rock bottom mentally and got help. I saw who was there without needing any kind of invitation or praise. They just showed up. It made me feel loved beyond words. Their completely honest and shameless support, both when I needed it, and now a year later when I am stronger and more stable. They have shown me the deepest and most powerful platonic love that I never hoped to deserve. They kiss my cheeks, hug me fiercely, make plans and keep them, but mostly, they are just there, always and without question. At my birthday dinner this year, they surprised me with a painting one of them had painted for me, brilliantly shaded in my favorite colors, and in the center was a tree, with its branches stretched out, and a few huge roots underneath, and a big heart in the center. They knew I'd know what it meant. They've heard me reference that clip many times. It straight up made me ugly cry right there in the restaurant. No shame. They love me on purpose, and without hesitation. They saved my life. They are the family I chose, and they chose me right back. They love me on purpose. This is the most important part of any relationship, be it friend or fiance. Every night I crawl into bed, and my pigeon hops into her little bed on the side table. I'll sing her a little song and she coos. In the morning she wakes me up by pecking in my nose, lol. It's pretty goofy, but sometimes I think about the day it won't happen anymore and I can't breathe for a minute. We get so many years on this planet, most of us, to do whatever we want, but they only get so few and devote every moment to loving us. Little bird's my best friend. The fact that you've a pet pigeon is the cutest thing ever and makes you a Disney princess in my book. When we just spend time together, even if we aren't talking or anything, just them taking the time to hang out with me and put up with my BS is the greatest. Sounds like time is your love language. The moment I realized I was going to marry her is at a family gathering. I was outside with her dad having a beer and I haven't eaten that day yet. Without me even needing to ask, she made me some food and brought it out to me. She realized that I didn't eat that day and knew I was hungry, and without the slightest thought she made some food for me. Such a small thing, but it is something I will never forget. I proposed 1 year later. We are getting married in April. When my cat wakes up at 4 AM, headbutts my face until I wake up for scritches, then passes out again in my arms for another few hours. Yeah, my cat wakes me up at 4 AM with a sad cry and all I have to do is pick her up and kiss her on the head a few times, and that's all she wants is to remember that I love her, and she goes back to sleep for the rest of the night. She's a weird little creature, but she's my buddy. When she randomly tells me to go fishing by myself, she knows how much I love to fish, and she knows I love and need my time alone. So, she prioritized time for me to do that, and I appreciate it like crazy. Weirdly, my best friend is this girl I've known for 6 years. We met playing CS::GO. Never anything sexual aside from dirty sense of humor. We've only ever met up in person once due to living on other ends of the USA, but she has always acted as though we were childhood friends. Talked me through issues in my life. Listened when I've needed to vent. From someone who owes me nothing, she has always been there for me. Compliments, especially ones the other person has overheard about me. A colleague heard one student say to another, "MRS Ebeth the Mighty is really nice," and came to tell me about it after all the high schoolers went home. It warmed my heart and made me feel super appreciated. Not exactly most loved, but rather accepted, or at least liked. When someone opens up to me about their personal life, I've always struggled to open up to people, so it really means a lot when PPL do that. Me. You made me remember how little I care about all of my friends and even close family members because of how little they talk to me about anything. Recently I was sick in bed and my husband surprised me by bringing home takeaway pho from my favorite place. Maybe it was the germs hormones, but I was so touched that I cried. When they let me talk about stuff that I get super into and they don't actually care about, but they still let me ramble and get into the conversation as best they can. When I walk and I feel the wind breeze through my hair, I tend to chuckle and say hello to the wind, as though it were an old friend. It's not conventional, but it makes me feel whole. My favorite weather is windy, light, breezy, cold on a warm day, warm on a cold day, strong winds that you have to gain your balance, wind that comes and goes, all of the above. I love wind. I struggle to ask for help with things, and when I'm overwhelmed with something, and someone just jumps in to help out or says I'll take care of this without prompting or asking me to ask them to help. Basically, I feel most loved by someone when I'm struggling, too stubborn or embarrassed to ask for help, and someone steps up to help on their own doing. My boss made me cry last week because she was telling me how thankful she was to have me as a part of her team again. I was transferred then got to come back per my request a couple months ago, and how proud of me she is for aiming for higher. I love that woman. The way my dog gets excited when I come home. Just today I walked in and he was wagging his tail like crazy, and he'd do that I wanna play pose. He'd run away and then come back wagging his tail more. I eventually get down on the floor and he headbutts me in the shoulder. I pet him like crazy and he licks my face. He makes all those goofy happy noises at me too. My heart melted on the kitchen floor. I coach youth football, American, and I have a kid that's 9 that was previously on my team. He walks all the way across the practice field to give me a hug and talk after every practice and makes sure I stay to watch his game on Saturdays. This is so sweet. You are really special to him. When my cat is walking past me when I'm sitting on the couch, and at the very last second he leans his butt and tail against my leg as he's going past, like he just needs to make a quick physical contact or something to acknowledge me, feels pretty good. I don't know, I just wish someone would ask me how I'm doing, or spend time with me because they want to and actually be present, not looking at their phone the whole time. I felt so much love as a kid, but these last couple years of my life it's like everything is just getting worse and more disconnected and I hate it. I'm tired of feeling alone and being freaking depressed all the time, too depressed to enjoy or do the crap that I used to love. Maybe that's why no one spends time with me anymore and it seems like a chore for them. My partner isn't a touchy person with anyone but me, neither am I for that matter. He shows his love by climbing in bed next to me, snuggling in as close as he can get, and tangling our limbs together until I'm not sure where I end and he begins. Then when he has us positioned just right, he closes his eyes, as all the tension bleeds from his body, and he lets out a contented sigh. I've never felt so loved in my life. When my 15-year-old autistic son comes out of his room and does something like lay his head atop mine or gently boops my nose as he walks past. Sometimes he'll even lay down next to me for a bit of a cuddle. He doesn't verbalize feelings, but he has such a gentle and sweet way of telling me he loves me. That's adorable. When someone shows me something that I'm interested in and makes a point of it even if they aren't interested in that thing at all. This person who is my dearest friend. She treats me with kindness and never tries to push me to go out and make friends. She knows I'd rather be alone. She reaches out to check up on me. When my girlfriend holds my hand, looks into my eyes, and says you are the best thing that has ever happened to me, every time she does it I get super happy and feel loved. If someone helps me clean the house, like, let's move the furniture, scrub the baseboards and really clean the house, that crap sucks. Ain't much but love that can make a person wanna help out with that. When you're talking about a show and they end up watching it later without you really pushing for them to. When they are really busy but still make time to hang out. I read somewhere that in order to survive in life, you need at least 3-4 hugs daily. So virtual hugs to everyone in this thread. Virtual hug. When someone does little things for me, like when someone gets me a snack or if they see something they know I'm interested in and show it to me. It's so sweet and makes me feel so special. Most of my close friend circle is into craft beer. We reached the point where we will often be browsing new releases and be like, hey, I know X will love this. Better buy one as a gift. My boyfriend and I have been together for a little over 2 years now. High school sweethearts. Over the past 2 years he has learned me so well that he knows my mannerisms, or when I am going to do something, and does it for me. If he sees that the blanket isn't covering me all of the way, he pulls it up for me. He subconsciously does things to take care of me, and it is the sweetest thing ever. It makes me feel genuinely loved. He could buy me anything in the world and that would not come close to the feeling I get when he does these small little things that he remembers I like. Hugs for sure. There is nothing quite as magical as getting a full-on squeeze from your so good day. Just made better. Bad day. Don't even remember after a good hugging sesh. Someone letting me feel what I need to. When I'm angry, I want to be angry until I'm done being angry. Or if I'm sad and want to cry until it's all out of my system while choking down some Ben & Jerry's. I'll feel more loved if someone doesn't just tell me to get over it already. My niece. Oh man. My little bestie. I've never seen someone grow the biggest smile on their face. Just from me walking in the door. She is only 2 years old. But still, I can just feel how much she absolutely loves and adores me. Of course I feel the same way about her. We are 2 peas in a pod and I love being her auntie. My parakeet would hop on my shoulder and start kissing, licking and playing with ear and my facial hair while purring. Man, I miss my little bro so much. My best friends always randomly check in on me, like it could be just a random Tuesday of no importance, and they'll send me a message just wanting to chat. It's super awesome. My friend has a little sister and she is in 2nd grade. When the school year started up again, I saw her with my friend and she ran up to me and hugged me and said, "Wow, you're skinny," and I still get teary-eyed when I think of that. I have had self-esteem issues for years and that one moment made me feel so much better. When they're asleep next to you and you hold them really tight and close and they make that little squeak noise like you just made them the happiest ever. This one time when I was in 7th grade, me and my were at the library and my friend cuddled with me. No one has ever done that, so I felt very appreciated. Later on I mentioned it once and she said she liked to make me uncomfortable, cause she knows I am not used to affection. And TBH, I miss it like a lot. Due to my home life before I moved out, I have a hard time with casual affection. I suppose it's something everyone needs, to the point where you physically crave it, but I don't act on it. Even with my close friends, I don't cuddle them. I don't high-five them. I keep a space bubble between us. My ex is very aware of what I went through, and whenever we spent time together, he was so good about figuring out the correct way to touch me. Initially he would always make sure to keep a distance between us. Sometimes, he would start showing affection by taking my hand, seeing that I didn't object to it, and then pull me in. Or after we had been touching each other a lot, he would just hug me for a while. I told him how being kissed on a certain spot meant a lot to me and he would then kiss it. He was very careful about what I was sensitive to and all my needs and wants. My body was truly respected, on a level even my friends would sometimes neglect. I've never felt more loved than those moments with him. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.